Alright guys, I'm working on the Camaro today, and so here's the deal. The car's going to be put up for the winter because it's getting pretty close to where it's going to be getting put up within the next month or so. I usually do a checkup on all my cars, suspension wise and everything, before I put them up, and then next summer or springtime I'll end up pulling the plugs out, replacing plugs and everything. But I've been having a problem lately with the car where when I turn it on it makes a screeching, clicking sound. Once it warms up, it goes away. So I was going to take the AC belt off, in which I got it off. And so pretty much I'm replacing the alternator. So this is how to replace an alternator on an ls1. So you take a 15 wrench or a socket and a whatever ratchet, and then you take that off, you take your belt off. Now the deal was when I did that, if you grab the alternator and you turn it, you can hear it screeching. And more than likely, that is the bearing. So here's the deal. I'm going to replace the alternator. It's an advanced part, so it's already been replaced. This was a couple years ago I replaced it. It's a lifetime warranty part. So I wasn't going to spray some WD-40 on it, not going to do that now. I thought maybe it was just some small squeak, but it's not. It's a bearing. You can feel resistance on the pulley, and if that's the case, then the bearing's starting to go out, and you more than likely need to replace it. So obviously, you're working on an electrical system part of the car, you disconnect the battery. So it's an 8mm. You disconnect the ground and positive, disconnect the battery completely, and then you take a 15 and you get that undone. So and then you get the belt off and everything. I'm gonna go grab the rest of the tools I need, and then we'll get going. Okay, so now that you're ready and you got the battery disconnected and then the belt gone, you work with this bolt here. You have one here. You have one bolt there, which is a 15. You have one right up here, 15. You have another 15 that sits, I can't even get it. It's a small little bracket. I can get the camera up there. Small little bracket that sits, man, right there. That's the bolt. So once you get that 15 out, those three 15s, the alternator will drop, and then you disconnect the plug, which is up here on the back side of the alternator. So once you get the plug undone and the wire undone on the back, you can drop it. Alright, so we got the alternator off. There's one extra bolt that I didn't mention, and it's this guy here. That's just to take the bracket off. It makes it easier. Bracket's dirty. This is the bracket that goes in the back. There's actually a 13mm that goes through the back here and screws into this that boss there. Now when I took my alternator off, sounds but yeah, one of the wires broke on my alternator. Actually not one, both of them did. I'll take this off and the eyelet broke, so I've got to get another eyelet, crimp it on there, and I'm going to rewire the connector. Okay, so you have your connector. What in the world is going on? Okay, there we go. Alright, so we have the connector here, and the wire just got snapped right there. So you pull this back cover off, and then you stick a pick inside of it, and there's a tab right there that you can pull. I just mangled the thing and yanked it out because I got another one, and then you will have to crimp another wire on there and get that all set up so we can go back on the car. Alright, so here we are. It's another morning because I had to wait for the alternator to be ordered, and it came in. It's a replacement from the other one, and it's brand new. I did get a new fog light because the fog light was bad on the passenger side, and these crimped, or these terminal ends to crimp on the the wire for the back of the alternator right there. And I got the bracket all cleaned up. Used the wire wheel on my bench grinder and cleaned all the bolts and everything, so they all look clean and everything. So now what I gotta do is I'll install a bracket first. Actually, I'll probably, yeah, I'll install the bracket first. Once the bracket's installed, all that's done, we gotta crimp that wire on with that boot and everything on there so it all looks like factory, and that boot shields it from moisture and rusting and stuff early. But yeah, we'll get that crimped on there, and then we'll get going. Alright, so when you're going to put this alternator in, it gets kind of confusing with the bracket in place. You just got to be careful of the drain plastic shield in the back, and you go in right here, right in this opening here, closest to the frame rail. If you move the wiring, you can wiggle it in there with the pulley facing down, and then you just wiggle it in place. Now that it's in place and I got the wires on and everything, all you have to do is just tighten the 3/15s on the front here, and then the 1/15 that bolts the bracket to the block, and then the 13. I did it the hard way. You really only have to do the 13 off the back of the alternator to get it off that one bracket, but it just makes it easier to reinstall it all and align it all at once. So once you get that done, then put the belt back on, and then we'll get back up top and do that. So here we go. Okay, so once you get the alternator all buttoned up, you put the belt back on. The belt goes up underneath the water pump here. It goes around the power steering pump, down around the alternator, around the idler pulley, underneath or around the crank pulley, and then up around the tensioner, and then back under the water pump. Once you get that back on and all the bolts are snug down, you double check your work. You then connect the battery. Once you get the battery connected, which I've already got the battery connected and everything's done, you test fire. Be sure to run over and check really quick to make sure that the belt was aligned right and that it doesn't slip off, okay? So I'm going to push the clutch, push in, turn key start, fire right up, run over and check really quick. That's how you do it. Always be careful with this kind of stuff, especially with electrical systems. You can fry fuses and whatnot. But yeah, so that's that. Like, subscribe. You guys want another video of something, I don't know what, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.